Right here once again at the 20th anniversary of Janjangbureh. We are at the symposium that focuses on reparation, freedom, and slavery. And at this event, writers and scholars who are Gambians and non-Gambians gathered here from different corners of the world, particularly from the United States, Senegal, and of course the Gambia, to discuss this theme and extensively focus on the way forward after discussing the history behind this commemoration. The chairlady opened this historical symposium with introduction to Janjangbureh history and why Janjangbureh is so important to Gambian as an emblem of unity in diversity.
The settlement was renamed Makati Island, and a new settlement of liberated Africans, and this is important to note, it's a settlement of all Africans, not only Gambians, but Africans were resettled here. And they grew up becoming a success story of commerce, integration, and entrepreneurship. We have to emphasize and stress here that Janjangbureh existed before 1823. The main topics of the symposium are slavery, freedom, return, reparations, the Creole, of course, and tourism. Then we're going to discuss the homecoming, the liberation and emancipation from enslavement, industriousness, entrepreneurship, tolerance, our culture, and heritage.
Other speakers talk about reparation, restitution, impact of some indigenous people who are maybe called minority like Akos or Creoles, and why there should be solution or way forward to the problem related to the history of the land.
Since the 19th century, the island of Janjangbureh, also referred to in the records as Lamen Island by the British, was part of a tightly braided and an extensive network. By the 17th and the early 18th centuries, the area around Georgetown was a highly cosmopolitan place because of its connection to long-distance trade. The Upper Gambia was by this time incorporated into the European-dominated trading system or the commercial system, and later, their early British colonization efforts. The place attracted Moroccans, Syrians, Lebanese, Europeans, and a diverse group of African peoples coming from far and near, some as far as Guinea-Bissau and elsewhere. Tracing the complex connections that linked the West African Creoles to Janjangbureh and the wider local and other immigrant communities should be an important goal for future studies.
When we talk about reparation in relation to slavery, this is an old theme, reparation. It's an old topic, and we are going to see why it's an old topic. And it is also something the youth still use right now, and even our diaspora. So reparation, repatriation, and restitution, when we talk about reparation, I won't say about slavery, but let's say when we talk about reparation, when Africans and the diaspora, African diaspora talk about reparation, reparation means that we are talking about there is injustice or a prejudice, and someone has to pay it. Okay? It may be legal or civil lawsuit. So, in relation to slavery, we have to ask ourselves, what is the injustice or the prejudice we are asking to be repaired, or what is the injustice that is repairable, that they can repatriate, or that they can restitute? That's the question. Or otherwise, if I put a comma, I can say, is repatriation and restitution.
Some historians believe that the famous Bara War of 1831 and the wars in Nyomi and Badibu were largely a result of the continuation of the slave trade. So why can't we rebuild these villages and sites to tell our own version of slavery and the slave trade as a way to draw in Africans in the diaspora and those interested in the general history of slavery and the slave trade? My third point, and most importantly, is to exploit the river by centering Georgetown. To me, the river offers us the best and richest natural products to market the Gambia as a destination. No river in the world, and let me repeat that, no river in the world has 6 tributaries or junctions or intersections populated by hippos. Right? Also, there are only 2 countries in the world divided by a river, and the Gambia is one of the 2. Brothers and sisters, is this not remarkable? Imagine we craft stories around this unique opportunity, the bird species, the flora and fauna, to enhance ecotourism.
How can I find common ground in the Gambia in the 21st century? So what happened is we artists and griots and painters and writers and singers, it falls to us. And it falls to the business of government that when we create, they take it up. Because that is how we can together express who we are or what we should be in the 21st century. They call us Aku locally, and we became Creole. Aku was what became of the accuser's grandfather. After he had been taken from the banks of the River Gambia to Louisiana and brought back, perhaps via Freetown and maybe Liberia and onto Bathurst. That was how, for example, Pane became McDonald, Jallo became Mason, Jara became Owens, Jau became Roberts, Sambu became Foster, and Mane became Williams. Never forget how Kunta Kinte became Toby.
I believe, the issue of reparations should be approached holistically and in unison. This is why we want to take a stand, and New York has taken a stand, Ghana has taken a stand, some Caribbean countries have taken their stand. Now how to amalgamate, to bring together all these various strands so that there will be a unified voice for reparations. But it's going to be a tough battle because those who enslave us are still in power. Right. They still wield economic power. You know more than me what I mean. So we need one voice. The moment there is any amount of discordance, any indication of cacophony, the reparations project will be hampered.
The special guest of the occasion, Patricia Scotland, the General Secretary of Commonwealth, explore how our history is linked to the country and how important the Gambia is to the Commonwealth nation. She talked about the value and the importance of the youth among the Commonwealth nations and the contribution of the youth, especially the Gambian youth, to the development of the Commonwealth.
And I'm very pleased, in a way, to be representing those who left these shores and were not allowed to come back. So how do I know that I am Gambian? It's because I had a DNA test. And according to my DNA, I come from the Gambia. I am so proud to be returning to the Gambia for this commemoration, for this celebration, to represent all of those who were not allowed home 200 years ago, but who can come home now. And I'm extremely proud, therefore, to be the first woman to be appointed the Commonwealth Secretary General. And I hope you here in the Gambia will now know I belong to you too. The Commonwealth, as you know, now has 56 countries. The the Gambia is a proud member of the Commonwealth. In those 56 countries, we have 2.5 billion people, 60% of whom are under the age of 30. So we represent about 1/3 of humanity. But it's really important for us all to remember that every single human being on this earth came from 6 people, and those people started here in Africa. So whether people like it or not, we are all Africans.
This symposium had a great impact on the life of the people as they expressed themselves, showing that they will never be the same after this event. Hearing from veteran scholars within the country and abroad, and gathering information that has never been even heard from the classroom or even from the text.
The program today is very interesting because so many things we learn. We learn from history, from the speakers, including the Secretary General of Commonwealth. Today we learned a lot. And then we learn about the history of this island and how many people participate. And I am also I learn new things.
Most impressive thing for me was what I never realized, that so many people, I did know that very many people were taken from Africa as slaves, but I never realized what it makes psychologically not to know the roots, where you come from, and that was really a very impressive and touching speech from this lady from the Commonwealth, from the Secretary, and also the question about reparation. That was also very, very interesting for me. Who gets there? Because this is a big thing in Europe as well. We're discussing this in the news and in the medias, and how hard it is to decide and see what is the criteria. And so that was very, very interesting.